It survived a revolution that executed its own archbishop. It survived the armies of Hitler. It survived 8 centuries of war, plague, and political upheaval. And on a warm spring evening in April 2019, Notre-Dame de Paris was nearly destroyed by its own roof. That's not a metaphor.
The Notre-Dame Cathedral is on fire.
Tonight, Notre-Dame Cathedral in Paris is completely engulfed by fire.
Massive fire engulfed the Notre-Dame Cathedral in Paris Monday.
The very structure that had protected the cathedral for over 850 years. A massive lattice of medieval oak beams sitting directly above the stone vaults became the fuel that almost burned the entire building to the ground. And the most terrifying part? Almost every system designed to stop exactly this from happening failed, one after another, in a chain of errors so precise it almost looked deliberate. Construction on Notre Dame began in 1163, during the reign of King Louis VII. It wasn't finished until nearly 200 years later. Think about that for a moment. Generations of workers dedicated their entire lives to a building they would never see completed. The stone walls, the famous flying buttresses, the enormous rose windows. All of it was engineered with medieval tools by people who had no cranes, no power equipment, and no architectural software. The flying buttresses alone were a technological revolution. External stone arches that transferred the weight of the enormous walls and roof outward and downward, allowing the interior walls to be thinner and pierced with those vast stained glass windows. Without them, the whole structure collapses. Engineers today still marvel at the logic behind them. Yet the people who designed all of this were working entirely from intuition, geometry, and centuries of hard experience. And the structure they built has outlasted empires. But above all of that stone, hidden from every tourist who ever strained their neck to look up at the vaulted ceiling, was something else entirely. A roof framework so enormous and so dense with ancient timber that workers gave it a nickname, La Forêt, the forest. It was a labyrinth of oak beams, each one hand-hewn from a single tree, most of them cut down between 1160 and 1170. These were trees that were already old when the Crusades were still happening. The beams had been assembled on the ground first. Medieval carpenters built the entire framework at ground level to test the dimensions, then took it apart and hoisted it piece by piece up to the top of the cathedral with ropes and pulleys, reassembling it in the sky. For over 800 years, not a single one of those beams had burned, until April 15th, 2019, the first alarm triggered at 6:18 in the evening, while Mass was still being held below. A security employee, only 3 days into his job and working his second shift of the day, received an alert on a control panel so complicated that investigators would later describe it as nearly indecipherable. He radioed a guard and asked him to check the attic. The guard ran to check the attic of the sacristy, a small building next to the cathedral, not the cathedral itself, came back and reported no fire. The real attic, 300 steps above, was already burning. By the time anyone reached the correct location, 30 minutes had passed. The fire had found the forest. And a forest, it turns out, burns very differently than anyone in charge had expected. The architects of Notre Dame's fire protection plan had spent 6 years developing it. Thousands of pages of diagrams, contracts, evacuation routes. They ran drills. They installed a smoke detection system of tiny tubes threaded throughout the building. But the plan contained one critical assumption that no one had ever actually tested, that the ancient oak beams, because of their size and density, would burn slowly. The logic seemed reasonable. Thick, heavy timber takes a long time to ignite. Fire safety experts say that assumption was dangerously incomplete. A fire doesn't need to burn through a beam. It burns across them, and across 800-year-old dried oak timbers stretched across an attic with no barriers to slow it. Fire moves fast. There were no sprinklers in the attic. There were no fireproof partitions. The fire protection team had explicitly decided not to install them, reportedly to avoid altering the historic wooden structure. The decision to protect the forest from modification led directly to the destruction of the forest by fire. By the time the Paris Fire Brigade arrived, around 7 in the evening, the blaze had already broken through the roof. 400 firefighters would fight it through the night. 45 minutes into the battle, the spire fell. It was the second spire Notre Dame had ever had. The original medieval spire had been removed in the 18th century after falling into disrepair. The replacement, designed by architect Eugène Viollet-le-Duc in 1859, stood 93 meters tall, clad in lead over an oak frame. When it collapsed, it punched through the roof of the nave and sent a shockwave through every firefighter watching from below. For a moment, it looked like the whole cathedral might follow. The fire brigade made a decision: save the bell towers. If the flames reached the northern tower, where 8 enormous bells were suspended in a wooden frame, the heat could cause those bells to act as wrecking balls, bringing the tower down. And if the northern tower fell, it would likely cascade into the southern tower, then the nave, then everything. The entire cathedral, domino by domino, stone by stone, into the Seine. It didn't happen. Firefighters held the line. By 9:45 that night, the fire was under control. The stone shell of Notre-Dame was standing, but around 2/3 of the roof had been destroyed, and the forest of Notre-Dame, those oak beams hand-hewn from individual trees by medieval carpenters, was gone. What the cameras broadcasting live around the world didn't show was what happened to the air above Paris that night. The cathedral's roof had been covered in 460 tons of lead. When the fire melted it, that lead vaporized into a toxic plume and rained back down across the surrounding neighborhoods. A later study found that nearly a ton of lead dust settled within 1 kilometer of the cathedral, and air quality measurements taken 50 kilometers away showed lead particulate levels that were 20 times higher than normal in the week following the fire. Samples of honey collected from beehives downwind of Notre-Dame tested positive for lead isotopes directly traceable to the blaze. A city had survived, but it had also been quietly poisoned. Rebuilding Notre-Dame was a challenge unlike almost anything attempted in modern construction. You can't just order medieval oak beams from a supplier. The reconstruction team needed to source 1,300 oak trees from across France. Trees as close as possible in size and character to those of the 13th century. Very straight, very slender, with no defects. Surveyors used drones to scan more than 200 forests across France, searching for trees with the right dimensions. Some of the oaks they selected were 200 years old. One of them had been a sapling during the French Revolution. Foresters selected them, limbed them by hand, and transported them on specially configured convoys to sawmills, where the timber was then left to air dry outdoors for up to 18 months before a single cut could be made for the cathedral. Then a small army of carpenters trained in traditional techniques took over, working with hand axes on freshly harvested green wood, rebuilding the framework exactly as it had been.
Using axes in order to recreate that rippled finish that you were able to see in the original cathedral in the 13th century framing.
Using the precise measurements of the 13th century structure documented in a 2014 architectural survey. Except this time, hidden within the new forest, a modern automatic misting system was installed throughout, and fire-resistant trusses were placed between the spire and the nave on either side. The lesson had finally been learned. The cathedral reopened in December 2024, 5 years and 8 months after the night it nearly disappeared forever. Notre-Dame had survived crusades, revolutions, 2 world wars, and centuries of neglect. What almost finished it was a fire alarm that sent a guard to the wrong building, an attic with no sprinklers, and 800-year-old wood that nobody had truly understood how fast it could burn. The greatest structures in the world don't fall to grand forces. They fall to the small decisions, the assumptions nobody questions, the safety measures nobody funds, the guard who checked the wrong door. Notre-Dame survived because, at the last moment, enough people made the right call. Next time, whatever the building, whatever the century, we might not be so lucky.